What's up, what's up, what's up? It's your man, Chazz Ellis, once again answering the questions that you asked me. Make sure you go to the ChazzEllisProject.com and be a part of picking the next video. Also, if you need to get a consultation or you just want to make a donation to keep the Chazz Ellis Project going, we appreciate you, bruh. Now, you can do any of those things. Anyway, the question that I got was, can you turn a hoe into a housewife? Now, before I even go into this, let me make sure we talk about this first. Some of y'all gonna get offended by the term hoe. And you shouldn't get offended by the term hoe, because the word really doesn't matter. It's the connotation. It's what it means. When you talk about hoe, it basically seems like someone's condemning a certain behavior. That's what bothers you. So if you're a hoe, you shouldn't get mad because this is just a term describing your behavior. And if you're not a hoe, this isn't really about you. So why do you even care? It's kind of like when you call a dude a dog and you're like, man, don't be calling me a dog. That's insulting. No, that's how we see your behavior, so we called you a dog. Now, if we're lying on you and you're not a dog and we're calling you one, then okay, you can be mad about that. You have obvious reason to be angry. Simple as that. If you're not a hoe and somebody calls you a hoe, you got all kind of reason to be angry. But we're not calling anybody a hoe. This video is not about a specific person. So, the question was, can you turn a hoe into a housewife? And I say, case by case can be different depending on what the situation, but for the most part, there's three major reasons why you generally cannot turn a hoe into a housewife. And the number one reason is because hoes are usually not as invested in relationships. Hoes are used to getting dumped. This is what you gotta understand. When you've been ran through quite a bit, you're used to being in relationships that didn't go anywhere, or not even relationships at all, where you was just talking to a dude for a while, it didn't work out. So a lot of times, hoes just aren't going to give their all to a relationship, and they're not going to be as invested. They've seen the underbelly of men. It's like if you were to date a stripper. Strippers have been around the worst type of dudes on the planet. Most of their existence on this planet. If they're 30 years old and they've been stripping since they were 16, 17, which some of them have, sad. Some of them have, they've been stripping for a long ass time. So most of their adult life, all of their adult life has been messing with the underbelly of male society. So when they get with you, they're not going to be able to take you at face value. They're not going to be like, oh, this is going to last forever. They're going to think you just like all the other dudes that they dealt with. So the investment generally is not going to be the same. That means you're going to they might be cool as hell. They might be one of the coolest chicks you ever dated. But the investment generally is not there. Number two, hoes are usually not really freaks. And that's kind of tough for a long-term relationship. It's not like, you got some girls who they ain't really freaks in life. But they freaks for their man. They get with their dude and they willing to just go all out. So that makes a long-term relationship a lot easier because the bedroom is spiced up and you have a lot of fun and you do a lot of cool stuff with each other. Hoes generally are not freaks for this reason. When you're dealing with a hoe, it's not the same vulnerability to give up their body. It's like usually with a woman, when you get her body, you get her heart with it. It's like clearly my heart was already given to you. Now my body is something that I'm giving to you with that. Because that's deep. This is meaningful to me. This matters. So when I do that, making these other steps, doing some freaky stuff down the road is not as hard for me to do because I'm already emotionally attached to you. Whereas hoes, even when they really, really like you, their body and their heart have become separate because they've been ran through so much that, it's like they don't get with a dude and be like, oh, okay, I really, I love this dude because I'm having sex with him. They've gotten to the point where they're not like that anymore. So when you sleep with her, it ain't like you're just going to be like, okay, we're going to just take all these different levels. We're going to have so much fun. We're going to do all this, that, and the other. A lot of times they just feel like just laying there and having sex is something major to do. They're like, okay, I did that, because that's just how they're programmed. Or they just, they just have sex because they're horny. You know, it ain't like some kind of a connection type thing that means so much to them and they're willing to go this extra mile because they want to please their man. That's not the kind of sex that they've been having. They've been having, you know, random dude hit sex. They're not really, you know, like, you're not going to go all out for random dudes. You know, you're not going to be like, oh, let me just do all this. For some random guy, you know, come on. So the freaky things that you might think that somebody's going to do because they're a hoe, you don't get. You know, it ain't really like that, you know. Hoes are not as freaky as you would think. So that's a big one also. And the last one, this is not the case all across the board, but in a lot of times it is. A lot of hoes lack self-control, which is why they hoes in the beginning, in the first place. Because they've always lacked self-control. They mess with a dude right off top, you know. So it's kind of like it's kind of like you dating a dude. Which, you know, even women, I don't see why they date. Even women, I don't see why they date dudes most of the time. But it's kind of like you date the dude, where the lack of self-control is there. Where that person is not really, there's not a barrier that they have to cross to just have sex with random people. Most women have to cross a barrier to have sex with random people. It's like some thing in the back of their mind that makes them go, I can't really do this. I don't really know this person. I don't really want to do this. This is wrong. It's this barrier. So it's not even about you in the relationship. Like a lot of girls be like, I would never cheat on somebody if I was in a relationship. Yes, I've been around the block, but I wouldn't cheat on somebody if I was in a relationship. That's easy to say when you ain't never been in one. You know, and you ain't never been in no long-term relationship anyway. You know, most of them, even if they've been with somebody for like 7, 8 years, it's been off and on, but they ain't never been together more than a year. You know, we've been together 7, 8 years, but you ain't really been together more than a year in that whole period of time. So it's not like you've ever gone 5, 6, 7 year period just sleeping with one person. So that's kind of the thing is that, you know, they lack self-control a lot of times, so the chances of them cheating on you are a lot higher. You know, and then that's just the way it is. And when you couple that with the lack of investment, they're more likely to break up with you. So they're more likely to think that the relationship is going to end anyway and then try to go get somebody else. So these kind of things are going to happen more likely when you're dealing with a hoe. This is not to say that every girl that's been around the block and been with a lot of dudes is a bad person. It's not even to say that every girl like that is a hoe. But it's just to say that if you're dealing with somebody that's a hoe, that you know they've been ran through, chances are these are some of the issues that are going to exist in that relationship. And it's probably going to be the reason why it's hard for you guys to stay together. Hopefully I was able to help you out. I know I pissed some of y'all off, but hopefully I was able to help you out. Once again, it's your man, Chazz Ellis. Hoes, don't be mad at me. I'm sorry. Don't get angry. But, yeah, once again, it's your man, Chazz Ellis. Make sure you go and like and subscribe. Also, hit me up on the ChazzEllisProject.com. Peace.